Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu, Pawan Prabhuji, all the devotees. Let's start with our morning program. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshururmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshtarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Okay, anybody would like to sing our prayer of the week? Shri Kevalashtakam.
I can try, Prabhuji.
You'll try? Yes, Amresh Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Madhuram madhurevyopi mangalevyopi mangalam pavanam pavanevyopi hare namevya kevalam abrahmastam paryantam सर्वं मायामयं जगत् सत्यं सत्यं पुनः सत्यं हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् सगुरुः सपिता च पी सामातबन्धवोऽपि स शिक्षये चेत् सदा स्मर्तुं हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् निःश्वासेन हि विश्वास कदारूढो भविष्यति कीर्तनीयमतो बाल्यात् हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् हरि सदा वसे तत्र यत्र भागवता जना गायन्ति भक्तिभावेन हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् अहो दुःखं महादुःखं दुःखतरं यता काचरार्थं विस्मृतं रत्ना हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् दियतं कर्णो नियतां वच गियतां नित्यं हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् तृणीकृत्य जगत् सर्वं राजते सकलोपरि चिदनन्दमयं शुद्धं हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् हरे नामेभ्य केवलम् हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Amresh Prabhu. Very nice, very wonderfully sung and with full devotional bhav. Thank you. Okay. Anybody would like to read the translation?
I can read Prabhuji if no one else.
You will read? Okay, yeah, please go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah.
More sweet than all other sweet things, more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. The entire universe, from exalted Brahma down to the lowly clump of grass, is a product of the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The only thing that is reality, again I say reality. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. That person is a true preceptor, or a true father, a true mother, and a true friend, also only if they teach one to always remember the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. There is no certainty when the last breath will come and put an abrupt halt to all one's material plans. Therefore, it is wise to always practice chanting from very childhood. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Lord Hari eternally dwells in the place where truly exalted, spiritually advanced souls sing in the mood of pure devotion. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Aho, what is sorrow? What is sorrow? More painful than any other misery in the world, mistaking it as a mere piece of glass. The people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. It should be heard again and again with one's ears. It should be uttered over and over with one's voice. It should be perpetually sung and sung anew. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. It makes the entire universe seem insignificant as a blade of grass. It reigns supreme over all in a splendorous manner. It is full of eternally uh, conscious divine ecstasy. It is supremely pure. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amresh Prabhu. Yeah, a lot of important. Each verse is so practical also and so important. Yeah, we don't know when the last breath will come, right? And it'll put an abrupt halt. We think we plan, especially nowadays when we work. At work, we all do planning. We do planning for 1 quarter, 1 year. Sometimes they're doing long-term planning, 5 years, 10 years. Especially with this AI now, everybody's planning, oh, what will happen. And even the AI specialists are saying, they're saying that, it is like when we are driving in fog. The other day I was reading an article at work saying, everybody's predicting all these big, big things. Yes, it may be true, it may be true, it may not also be true, but it's like when you drive in a fog, you can only see like 100 meters, right? You cannot really see what's there ahead of you. So like that, they're saying, the scientists, yeah, that, even though it is nice, we don't know. We can only say, yeah, maybe with certainty what will happen in the next 6 months or a year. It's very hard to predict what will happen 10 years down the road, like that. So like that, yeah, what Sri Nilkanta Goswami is saying here, last breath will come at any time. We don't know. We may be planning for 5 years, 10 years, all this insurance, all, what will we do in our retirement? But nothing is certain. The only thing that is certain is the now, the present. So you have to use the present moment wisely. Every day is a practice. So like when we do here, should I come from a goldsmith background, so like gold and gold has to be put into fire again and again to make it pure. Silver will, especially like when I growing up in Chennai and the coastal areas, silver will catch rust or it will become very black. You have to clean. So like that, when we chant every day, we are cleaning our hearts, and slowly we'll start relishing the holy names, and it will become like an integral part of our life, which we cannot live without. So everything these acharyas are teaching us is so true. If we just have to follow with sincerity, then everything, the holy name, like Krishna says, is not different from him. So Krishna will start revealing. So hopefully that is a dream for all of us right now, because of course I'm just speaking theoretically, but at least the only thing that I have is faith in the words of our acharyas. Hopefully that faith one day will fructify and we all can actually have darshan of the Lord in our hearts as our acharyas have taught us. So with that, let's continue with Srila Prabhupada Lila, chapter 55, which is the final lesson. And yesterday we were seeing how Prabhupada um, has taught us, while he was living, um, and through his instructions in his books, and also while he was dying. Like we said this last breath can come at any time. Of course, Prabhupada, being a pure devotee, he chose the time when he would depart. And we saw how he sustained himself even without any food, even without any liquid for so many weeks before he left his body. But he was just using that time to teach to his disciples how to live and how to live, and increasing their um, intense love for him and allowing them to serve him. Right. So that is the ultimate um, joy that his disciples felt when they were serving Prabhupada intimately in his last days. And now, after he has left this worldly pastimes, they're actually feeling and they're able to sustain, that same love that they had for his physical presence even after he has left physically. So that goes to show that, again, the power of love endures beyond the physical separation, physical death, because they didn't even just sustain, but they actually increased their love. They increased their services for Srila Prabhupada after Prabhupada left. And now we see in the last 50 years, how much their love for Srila Prabhupada, by, like Prabhupada said, your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate with each other. So they have cooperated and they have grown this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world, many more times than Prabhupada wanted. Um, but yeah, they just continue Prabhupada's wish, and we see how Prabhupada is so happy and merciful, and because of his mercy, because he's always present through his instructions and is present through his spirit, the movement has continued to grow. And today we have the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, getting ready. So this is what Prabhupada predicted, that this will go on for the next 10,000 years. So, and Prabhupada says we don't have to leave our family, leave anything to be in Krishna consciousness. It's a mood of the heart, right? Externally, you don't have to change anything, but internally, we have to cleanse our heart. We have to bring ourselves to that constant remembrance of the Lord and his devotees. That is the process of Krishna consciousness. And he says, like how all scientists and artists, and no matter what spectrum of work you're doing, you can still dovetail yourself to serving the Lord by always remembering the Lord, hearing about the Lord, reading about the Lord, reading about the devotees of the Lord. So that's what we are doing with Prabhupada Lila when we read this transcendental pastimes of pure devotees of the Lord. It is almost as good as associating with the Lord Sri Krishna himself. Okay, so we'll continue from here, but almost towards the end of this chapter and the end of Prabhupada Lilamrit. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada's own society of devotees, is meant to help all persons interested in developing spiritual life under Srila Prabhupada's guidance. ISKCON was Prabhupada's organization for establishing and proliferating temple worship, book printing and distribution, and communities where devotees could live and serve together in close association. Prabhupada therefore entrusted all his properties, including the magnificent temples he had built in India, to ISKCON for the protection and perpetuation of his work. And he instructed his disciples to show their love for him by always cooperating among themselves to expand further the Krishna consciousness movement. When a disciple expressed his appreciation of Prabhupada's magnificent quarters in Bombay, Prabhupada replied, "I cannot take these with me. I am leaving them for you to use." The essential gifts of Krishna consciousness which Prabhupada brought are for everyone. Although most people do not know it, they are actually hankering for the happiness of genuine spiritual life. Prabhupada, out of compassion, wanted to distribute the gifts of Krishna consciousness to all the hungry people in the world. These gifts, which are peace of mind, satisfaction, freedom from anxiety, can be obtained by anyone who takes wholeheartedly to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let's read this point again. These gifts, which are peace of mind, satisfaction, freedom from anxiety, can be obtained by anyone who takes wholeheartedly to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This pure, happy state can be realized by receiving the ongoing dynamic legacy which Prabhupada left, his books, his devotees, his Krishna Consciousness Society, and his method of expertly applying Krishna consciousness to every situation in the modern context. Whoever intelligently takes up the practice of Krishna consciousness will also inherit the most wonderful realization in his relationship with Srila Prabhupada, the pure devotee of Krishna. We hope that Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit will help the readers in establishing their relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Its contribution is in the mood of remembering Srila Prabhupada in separation. Remembering his pastimes puts one into direct contact with him and with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this remembrance can free one from bondage to material life and enable one to taste the nectar of the eternal pastimes of Krishna and his associates in the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada's life did not end on November 14, 1977, and we hope that the readers of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit will not feel they have finished their connection with this literature by having read it once. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit can be read regularly from beginning to end. Our hope is that by hearing about Srila Prabhupada, the reader will become himself a Prabhupada Anuga, a follower of Srila Prabhupada. We can wish no better fortune than anyone. We can wish no better fortune upon anyone. Thus ends the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, completed on November 9, 1982, in the Kartik season at the ISKCON Krishna Balram Mandir in Sridham, Vrindavan. Hari Bol, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit ki jai. So officially, these first 6 volumes conclude the Prabhupada Lilamrit. But then there was another, like you say, Krishna and his pastimes are achintya and they are inconceivable and they are never ending. So like that, Prabhupada and his pastimes are also never ending. So graciously and kindly, his disciples put together one additional volume, the 7th volume, called Prabhupada Lila. So we'll continue with that. So these are some additional chapters of Prabhupada's pastimes and his travel around the world. So we'll continue with that. So there's a preface and introduction to this last 7th volume. So we'll read that. Preface to the first printing of Prabhupada Lila. Prabhupada Lila consists of biographical accounts of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada that were not included in the authorized biography Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit was 6 full volumes, so at least literally it cannot be considered an abridged version. Yet inevitably many interesting incidents in Srila Prabhupada's life were omitted. This is, I think, justified. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit is intended as glorification of Lord Krishna's pure devotee, but it is also for preaching. We want people all over the world to hear of Srila Prabhupada. His life's activities, although virtually unknown at present, are the greatest of all welfare works. Therefore, while Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit gives full account of Prabhupada's life, it stresses readability even for the uninitiated. For the new readers, hearing in detail of Srila Prabhupada's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th visits to Los Angeles, or hearing of many, many wonderful but incidental things he did or said, might not be interesting. It is their misfortune that they do not want to go on endlessly drinking immortal nectar, but we have nevertheless given them a substantial and almost irresistible drink in books like A Lifetime in Preparation and Planting the Seed. But many times when reading Srila Prabhupada's biography in the Assembly of Devotees, I have been asked if someday all the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada will be written and published. Until recently, I didn't know what to say. I would usually reply that even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj wrote that he would not fully narrate some of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for fear of too much increasing the volume of his book. But somehow the devotees were unsatisfied, knowing that certain pastimes of Prabhupada weren't being used in Prabhupada Lilamrit. A member of our biography staff, who is well acquainted with the masses of available interviews, memoirs, and letters, expressed disappointment to me in a note. I have a rather growing anxiety that I'd like to try to express. In volume 1 of the biography, because I am familiar with the interviews in such detail, I can see that you are leaving out things, summarizing some sections and skipping others. Volume 3 ends with Srila Prabhupada's ecstatic arrival in San Francisco on December 14th, but Volume 4 doesn't take me into the airport. Let me see Srila Prabhupada giving gifts to his devotees and so on. I felt really disappointed. Please don't think I'm criticizing your presentation. It is just that these incidents are so relishable. I think I just want a steady diet of them. I guess my question is, what will happen to these incidents? Will you ever use them? Perhaps in another form? Prabhupada's pastimes are so distinctly, transcendentally attractive. I feel a great loss if we can't somehow make them all accessible to the receptive reader. It was this note that made me consider presenting supplementary pastimes of Prabhupada without worrying about readability. For the sincere devotee, all authentic accounts of the life of the pure devotee are inspiring, instructive, relishable, and eternal. The devotees know the secret as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Drink deep this nectar, O men of piety, and you shall be taken from this mortal frame. In a purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada wrote, besides Swarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami, there were many others who also recorded Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur believes that the people of the world would benefit greatly if such notes were available. It is a most unfortunate situation for human society that none of these notebooks are still extant. Antilila 14.8 purport. Prabhupada also told us that Raghunath Das Goswami, when living at Radhakund after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, would narrate Lord Chaitanya's pastimes 2 hours daily for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas, including Krishnadas Kaviraj. Therefore, I humbly offer this first volume of supplementary pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, praying for the blessings of the Vaishnavas and for the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Our only motive is to increase the chanting and hearing and following of the precepts and the life of the Jagat Guru, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj, January 20, 1981, British Columbia. So, introduction to the first printing of Prabhupada Lila. So this volume is called Prabhupada Lila. The subtitle of Prabhupada Lila, Additional Pastimes of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, explains the nature of this work. Prabhupada Lila contains additional biographical descriptions of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, which were not included in the authoritative 6-volume work Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. In compiling Prabhupada Lila, we employed the same methods of research and treatment which we used in compiling Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. But Prabhupada Lilamrita mostly focuses on the early years of Prabhupada's preaching in America from 1967 to 69, with some additional chapters on his preaching in Europe and South America. These Leela chapters were compiled at the same time Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita was compiled, after it became obvious that all the subject matter of Prabhupada's life could not be contained within the scope of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. So it is an additional work, but very much a companion piece to Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. We may consider it as a supplementary volume to the biography. For the sincere devotee, all authentic accounts of the life of the pure devotees are inspiring, instructive, relishable, and eternal. By hearing the transcendental pastimes of Krishna's pure devotee, one receives all the benefits that he would get by hearing the pastimes of the Lord himself. The devotees thus know the secret of escaping the cycle of birth and death in the material world. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.16.8, living beings who are under the grip of Yamaraj should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Other accounts of the life of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit may be found in the free verse synopsis, Remembering Srila Prabhupada, and in the Prabhupada Nectar series of authentic anecdotes about Srila Prabhupada. Although we have described Prabhupada in many ways, there is no end to it. Prabhupada's life is so important that much more can and should be written about him. And I realize that this is just a little drop in the ocean of the activities of such a pure devotee. It is my hope that these books, as well as those of other disciples and followers of Prabhupada, will inspire the world to follow this great teacher, to relish his instructions, and to take up Krishna consciousness. Satsvarup Das Goswami, August 11, 1986. After that, let's continue with chapter 56. We'll read for a couple of minutes. Chapter 56, Return to America. San Francisco, December 14, 1967. As soon as Srila Prabhupada came into view, many devotees began to cry out or shed tears. He looked much healthier, tanned from the sun, sprightly. He waved and smiled. That smile made them still more eager, and they could hardly contain themselves when Prabhupada patiently waited for a customs official to inspect his bags. When Prabhupada had left America, his disciples had been uncertain whether they would ever see him again. He had suffered a paralyzing stroke in New York and had gone back to India to recuperate. If he were going to die, he had said the best place in the world was Vrindavan. But soon in his letters from India came news of his returning strength. Krishna had saved him. Now he was back. They needed him if they were to represent him and spread Krishna consciousness. Then they needed more association with Krishna's pure devotee. Jayananda drove him from the airport in an old limousine decorated with flowers. Prabhupada would be staying in an apartment in the Brahmachari's house on Willard Street, about 2 blocks from the storefront temple on Frederick Street. As he approached the doors of the apartment, he saw the picture of Lord Vishnu, taped to the inside of the glass facing him. Although the devotees had debated about the picture because Lord Vishnu had not been colored blue, Prabhupada joined his palms together in the pranama gesture and slightly bowing his head passed Lord Vishnu and entered the house. The devotees gathered excitedly in Prabhupada's room. One of them had read about a Vaishnava ceremony of washing the feet of the spiritual master, so they had prepared a pitcher of water and a bowl. Prabhupada permitted it, and in a few seconds it was done. Then he sat facing a crowded room of intimate devotees. Taking his kartals and playing them softly and sweetly, he led a Hare Krishna Kirtan. It was no ordinary thing how Prabhupada sang and how they listened and chanted in response with fastened, ecstatic attention, but it was brief. Afterwards, he began to speak of Krishna. He said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everyone's best friend. Even a good friendship in this world is a small indication of Krishna's friendship because everything is coming from Krishna. If you feel good on a nice spring day, that is an indication of Krishna. The smell of an aromatic flower, that is Krishna. Whatever is good in this world is Krishna, and all that is bad comes from forgetfulness of Krishna. Prabhupada spoke with a kind, gentle, and humble attitude. Hare Krishna. So let's pause here. This is so nice, so beautiful. It's Prabhupada physically departing in the end of Prabhupada Lila Amrit. And, Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj starts this Prabhupada Lila again, with Prabhupada coming back to San Francisco. It is almost like, he never left. He left and he has come back again. It is very poetic. And yeah, because Prabhupada has come back and is going to live eternally through his instructions. So this, anybody reads this will feel so much joy that Prabhupada is back. And like we were reading yesterday, yes, that is the ultimate ecstatic realization of Vaishnava Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, that of service and separation leads to union and separation. So while we are serving, while Prabhupada's devotees, we saw while he was on this planet, but he was in India, so many of them were serving all around the world. They could feel Prabhupada's presence even though he was physically away from them. And that service and separation mood, after Prabhupada left, gave rise to the union and separation, which is they were always feeling the presence of Prabhupada around them, even though he was not there physically. So even when he physically left the world, they were still feeling that union of Prabhupada. So that is so nice. That the same mood we are feeling now, that Prabhupada, even though he's not physically there, but he has actually come back. And yeah, it's very nice. And yeah, when Prabhupada again comes back, and the first thing he does is, of course, you see, like we talked about the significance that Krishna is there everywhere. He's teaching again and again. It's a state, internal state of consciousness. If we think Krishna is there, we remember Krishna, we chant about his name, we will feel Krishna's presence everywhere. So even though he has come back and he's just seeing this picture of Lord Vishnu on his apartment door, he's is doing pranam and is bowing down, and so that shows the mark of respect and the remembrance of the Lord that the pure devotee always has, no matter where they are. They could feel the presence of the Lord through his pictures, not even deities. They could feel the presence of the Lord through the aroma and the flowers, through the sun, through the moon, through the sky. Anywhere and everywhere Prabhupada, when he used to go for these walks, he will be in constant remembrance of the Lord and just constantly connected to the Lord. Anything and everything that he sees, he will connect back to Krishna. So here he's talking about friendship in the world, and anything and everything that is good in the world is because of Krishna. So we can, like that, we can always meditate. Like Urmila Mataji was saying, there's so many ways we can meditate on the Lord. And whenever we are not, when we are not speaking something, we are not saying something, internally we can use our tongue. We can continue to keep chanting. Um, when we see the picture of the Lord, we can see when we see, um, like I had mentioned this in the past. When there's the practice when we are free, when we are looking at something, like Amrit Prabhu would say when he was in college in Boston, when in his college room, when he was sitting and listening, and sometimes, there was nothing then to say, he would just meditate on the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, thinking, imagining that he would be writing it on the board. So like that, we can always continue the chanting of the holy names, if we are not using our mouth to speak at a given time. So like that, so that we can make that as a practice, then it will become a reality. So, yeah, it is wonderful to read these pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, and we just wish that they never end. Like Krishna Lila, Acharyas say, even if you take the whole water of the ocean, if you convert all the trees of the world into paper and use the whole water as ink, still we cannot describe, right? Sheshanag, Balaramji with thousands and thousands of head, Brahmaji with 4 head, of course, cannot describe. Sheshanag with thousands of heads cannot describe the glories of the Lord. Similarly, the glories of pure devotees of the Lord are also like that, because pure devotee of the Lord is fully in connection with the Lord. So their glories can never be exhausted. So there is so much to say, so much to read, so much to hear, and we wish that we can read them not just once, but over and over again, and take inspiration to perfect our own lives. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything? Any realizations, reflections from today's reading? Even if it is 10 seconds of what you felt, what connected, what resonated with you, anything that you have felt in your personal life as we have gone through this journey for the last 1 year of Prabhupada Lila Amrit. Aarti Mataji, busy with your school, but your heart. Yes, Ritesh Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hmm.
First of all, thank you, Prabhuji, for reading with such a big inspiration. The last chapter was actually very emotional, and still you kept going on. You were so, and Prabhupadaji's life is really a big example for everyone. Uh, Whatever he went through is beyond words. Like, how can it's unbelievable, to be very frank. Like, how can a person who has gone through so many downs and ups and downs and ups down still kept going on? We as a simple human being can only be a little bit uh, like it's fully inspirational. We keep going down and we keep feeling the pressure from this world, but Prabhupada ji, even at that time when the life was very harsh, kept going on and on and on and up. So thank you for reading, and it was actually very emotional. Sometimes you feel like that how we as a simple human being can follow the footsteps, not even follow, like how to even like get the inspiration, but you were the one who kept going on. And thank you for reading all that. It's really very very inspirational. It's very touching. It's not only about the life. It's like how he connected us to the real consciousness, to God, to Lord Krishna. That is really something that we have to keep going on and on to. We have to keep, we in this life keep falling down, to be very frank. Sometimes we have skepticism, like on is this really the world, maya ka sansar and all that stuff. We keep falling to the maya, we keep falling to the other things, we keep falling, and we sometimes try to elude our heart by saying, oh no, this is the practical world, we have to live in the practical world. And sometimes being spiritual connects us to a different world, and then we start thinking that is that really spiritual world or the practical world. But by reading the life history of Prabhupada ji and by reading his teachings, we keep we go back to Godhead, and that is really something that we have to keep in mind, for not us, for the new generations also, which is not easy. I know some of uh, devotees have taken a very good path in connecting the new generation to the Godhead, but unless until we are totally focused, unless until we are uh, on the path of Godhead, as what Prabhupada ji has said. And by reading his examples, by reading from his books, by following the teachings, we have to keep going on. So thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you all the devotees for being such a big inspiration to my life too. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So that was very nice realization that you shared, and thank you for sharing your personal reflections, how this has brought so much joy, and yeah, it was very nice. Thank you. It just felt like it came from your heart, Ritesh Prabhu. And yeah, like you said, we have to do, we have to first personally follow this, and then from our practice and our example, of course, if we are able to inspire even one soul, and then that will be perfection of our life. Like Prabhupada said, we don't have to imitate. We are in no way qualified to imitate anything that Prabhupada did. But like I said, don't imitate, just follow. So if we follow his instructions, and we are able to make our lives perfect, and by his mercy, if even one soul is attracted to this movement of Srila Prabhupada, then that is perfection of our life. Yeah, thank you so much. Wonderful. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Aarti Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I really appreciate your effort to help us reading Prabhupada Lila Amrit together. I always wanted to read uh, Lila Amrit, but was not able to read all alone. But in association of all of your devotees, I was able to complete it. And yes, Prabhuji, like my realization is like Prabhupada Lila Amrit teaches us how, like a pure devotee like Prabhupada ji, uh, was fully dependent on Krishna, and he teaches us how we also should depend fully on Krishna, like how he transferred like suffering souls into devotees, and how he showed mercy on everyone, even he converted hippies into into devotees. So yes, Prabhuji, thank you, really appreciate. And yeah, I can relate. I was wondering, like, when Jagannath Rath Yatra was going on, we were reading about it. Was coincidence, like mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna, that while Jagannath Rath Yatra was going on, we were reading about Jagannath ji. Like Prabhupada ji installed Jagannath ji in, and did first Rath Yatra. And then during Janmashtami, like those events keep on happening on the like very day we were reading those about those. So yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your efforts and for association of all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, that is the most important thing that you said at the end. Yeah, association of the devotees. Prabhupada told us again and again, you have to stay in the association of the devotees. Everything starts there, right? Our journey of Krishna consciousness started because of association. Yes. So yeah, and after that we continue. We read these books, we chant, we follow the process of devotional service. The ABCD happens, and then the magic happens. So yes, all the magic, and this is all again. Yeah, we can attribute all to mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Like that shows it strengthens our belief that yes, he's there with us every day when we associate with pure devotee of the Lord. He personally is there. He's caring, just as a spiritual grandfather. Like I said, grandfather. He himself said, a grandfather is more merciful than father. So he's so merciful on all of us that he's personally present. It's almost like he's guiding us, holding our hands, helping us walk on this path, which sometimes maybe of ups and downs. Like his life himself was full of ups and downs. So he's personally caring for, like, small, like toddlers like us, that we may fall down, but he's there to hold us and lift us back up and take us with him. So many acharyas mention that, like that is again the mood of humility that they have. Of course, they are pure devotees of the Lord, they said thus, but they come here to take us back home, back to Godhead. But they themselves don't take any credit for that. They say it's like a chain, right? So acharyas explain, like, we hold their hand, they hold their guru's hand, their gurus are holding their predecessor acharya's hands, and the acharyas are holding, the Ishtadev, which is the Lord's hand. So like that, it's a chain. So once we connect to the chain, then for sure it's guaranteed that we are going back to the Lord. So that is what our acharyas teach us. So we just need to have firm faith and follow the instructions. Practice every single day. It's not just one day thing. It's every day. And Prabhupada has taught us practically how to do that every day. So yeah, these 15-20 minutes every single day builds that habit, and it increases our love for the pure devotees of the Lord and eventually to the Lord. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful reflection. Okay, so I think it's 6:40. Maybe we'll pause here today. If there are any more reflections, we can certainly take them as we go along. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrit ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.